So this is where we left in the last video. We have built the functionality of update me, and in that we are allowing user to update their data like name, email, and the photos, summary details. Okay, so if you haven't watched, make sure to watch that. So this is where we left. Now let's come here. Things looks good to me, no more error. We have simply closed this one. And this function we have created, delete user, it's only for the admin. So admin can only delete the user and update the NFT details. Okay, so we don't need to do anything right here right now, we'll do it later. So let's come here, welcome back to the user model, and here we are. And now I want to teach you a very important concept when it's come to handling the user data. So sometimes what happened that a user create his account in your API or in your application, and his data is get stored in the database, but later he decide to delete his account. So in such scenario you should never delete his entire informations. In that condition you simply set his account inactive. You should never delete his account or delete his information, and that's logic we're going to build here. So to do that, let's come here in the user model, and here we're going to take a variable, say active, one more field. So in that we'll say type is going to be a boolean. So if it's true, that means a user is active. If it's false, that means a user is not active, means deleted his account. So type is blue. Here we're going to take a default value is going to be for true, sorry, and here we will select this to false. And the reason why I have select this false, because I don't want to display this in the output when the user will create his account, because this is the sensitive data and which I'm using internally for storing the data and displaying the data. So this is the one field we have created in our user model. Now let's come back to the user controller, and here we're going to build the functionality. So let's come here. For that we have to build a separate route which a user can click and delete his account. So here we are in the user. So this is the field we have created. Close this one and come up here, and now we have to simply create the functions. So close this one, and we're going to do it right up here. So we'll say export, and we'll say delete me. It's going to be a catchy sync functions because we are dealing with the promises, request, response, and next. And then we're going to take this await. We'll take the user and we'll call this findById and update, because that's what we need. And we'll have the data of the user in this body ID, and then we're going to simply set this active false. We are not deleting that user, we are simply setting active value to false because initially it's true. So active false, and here we're going to call this response. So we'll say 204, and here we'll send the status codes to success, and we'll say delete is going to be null because we don't need to send any data back to the user. No, because I don't want to send any data back to the user. You can send a message, it's totally up to you, but I would just go with null. Look fine. No, this is the delete me. Now we have to come back into the router section and we have to create the router for this. So let's come here. We have this sign up. This is the patch method we have, and simply replicate this, and here we're going to call this delete me, and we're going to run this product because we have to check whether the user is logged in or not, and then we have to simply allow him to simply delete his account. That looks pretty fine, and here we're going to call this delete method. So this looks pretty good. Simply copy that one, open a new tab and paste here, and this will become what is delete me. Copy that one and paste here, and from here we can simply take this delete method, and we have to take this authorization in bear token and JWP token. So let's come here in the login. We have to first log into the application. Let's come here and create a new account. So this is the name Daulat we have, and if we come here, refresh, you can see this is the name daulat.gmail.com. so this is the one account we have. Now we want to simply log in first in the application, then we can easily do that. Simply head the request, and here we are logged into the application. You can check all the data. Come back to the get all user. If you click on this right now, you can see right now we have only one user, which is a Hussein. So it's working fine. We are logged into the application and we are getting all the informations. Refresh, you can see the data looks fine, no problem we have here. Now what we can do is, let's come here in the delete and let's save this one first. So it will say delete me save it, look fine. We have provided the authorization. Now we have to, don't need to do anything in the body, we have to simply make a request. So if we make a request and here we are getting an error message, rq is not defined. Okay, maybe I have misspelled request. So this is, come here and let's go to the user controller and I can see where it is, and here we have missed the spelling. Request looks fine. Come here, I created a couple of users very quickly, and you can see come up in the sign up, you can see these are the 3 users I have created very quickly, and some of the user have this false, some of the user have this active, so it's working fine. If you come back to the sign up and let's create one more time, make a request, you can see this is the user we have created, it's true, set to true, and we have to turn this to false. So if I come here, reload, this is the last user which is a true, and his email id is heygmail.com. so that's the user we're going to delete. So copy that, come back to the login, we have to log in first, hit a request, and we are logged into the application. Now we have to click on this delete, select the token, it's look good. Now we can deleting this method, things looks good, no changes we have to do here, everything look good. Click on this and here you can see the request went successful and we got this empty, nothing here, null. And if we come back here in the database, you can see that right now it's true, but the moment I will refresh it will be false. So hit request and you can see it's false, means this user is inactive. So let's come here, that looks good, the logic is working fine. Now let's come back to the user controller and this one is also looks perfect to me. Come here, get all user, and click on this get all user. If I click that, you can see I'm getting all the users. So those users are deleted their account, I'm still getting their accounts, but I want to change this behavior. So those users have deleted their account, I want to hide this, I don't want to display their data in the get all user, and that's very easy fix, we can do it. So right now we have 4, so let's come here, and that change we're going to do here in this. So we have this all method and looks fine to me. So here we are calling this get all user and we are calling this find method, which look for the document in our entire database and give us all the data. So this is the find method we are calling, and here we'll come in the user model. Inside the user model we have to build one more pre-hook. We'll call this user schema.pre, and that we're going to go with the global find method, which is available in all the document. So we'll call this function next, and this is going to be the find, and that we have to simply look for this active. Those account have the active state to true, only those account will get as an output in get all user. So that's the only thing, and here we have to, looks fine, and here we have to call this next, so it will go into the next middleware. Simply save it, and right now you can see we have this 4 user in our database. User is, save it, and if I come here you can see I have 4 user. If I click and I get only 1, and the reason why we are getting only 1 because there are 2 accounts which have set to false, but there is 1 account in which we don't have this active state, and that is also getting hide. So we have to change that behavior as well. Let's come here in the database. So this is the first account, you can see in that we don't have this active document, the active state, there is no field of active, and that data is also getting hide, but we don't want this behavior. If a document content active false, only that document we want to hide. If a document doesn't contain the active state, means it's not true, it's not false, it doesn't have that field, in that scenario we want that data. So that's a very easy fix, we can do that. Come back to the code, and here in the sign up one, let's do one thing, let's create a new account. If we click on that and if we come in get all user, you can see right now we have this user, 2 user, because now the user we have created, it has active state. But how we can get the old one? And if I click on this delete, it deleted, and if we click on that, you can see right now we have 1. So that looks fine, and here we have to do the changes. So here we can say, instead of saying straight away true, we can say, we can use the MongoDB operator. So we'll say not false. So we have to look for only those account which has the active state to false. It look fine. That's the only thing we have to do. And now we can easily able to have this first document, but doesn't contain the active field. It looks good. No more problem we have. And if you come here and if you send a request, you can get the data of the two user. Hope this makes sense to all of you guys. Come back here and it looks fine. I believe that you guys have learned something new, and that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. With this, let's move to the next video.